On today's episode of Film Breakdown Show, we take a deep dive into Philadelphia, man. That defense is sweet. They just play the down a little bit better than you do, which is really frustrating. And then we look at the Philadelphia offense, the missed-targeted runs, depths of routes, quarterbacks escaping when there's no pressure. There's a lot going on there, and it all starts right now. Welcome to the Film Breakdown Show. I'm Logan Paulsen here with the ethereal sounds of Just a Guy Jason. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great.
And as always, we're in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio, and we're breaking down Philadelphia for this last game of the season, which is happening on Sunday. And again, this is just we just did this. Let's take a look at them again, specifically against the Buffalo Bills. Jason, I was pulling at straws. What do we talk about? We talked about a lot. I think this was a good direction point by you to be let's talk about the Bills real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bills, especially with how good their defense is playing, the Eagles defense that is, and with Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of buzz around him right now, so let's figure out what's going on. Let's look at the film.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so let's take a look at the defense first. And so again, everyone knows they run these match principle concepts, right? So here they're gonna the Bills are gonna run what I would call chair, right? So the reason people call it chair because it kind of looks like a chair, and they're gonna run choice here. And this guy's going to run a comeback. So to me, this guy's got this option here. You can kind of go in any direction, inside like a slant, sit it down, run outside. So I think this is a great call. This is a great call by Buffalo to kind of get this man zone indicator here. And we've talked about this on multiple shows with the back motioning back in. When they're on the back side of their match, they like to play a little bit of man coverage here. They basically lock this up. This becomes man. If I'm Buffalo, I love this matchup right here. I say to myself, we can win this all day. So let's take a look. So we're going to go here. They're going to motion the backfield. And this kind of plays so this isn't a true quarters match. This is another reason I put this on here is they play this principle, this help principle on a lot of their coverages. A lot of teams, I was talking to Fletch about this the other day, they want to put speed or an athlete here. And why do I want my linebacker to have to carry somebody who's a better athlete? Let's not do that. Let's help our quote-unquote worst coverage player with backside help and stress our better coverage players, which is exactly what they do here, right? So this concept over to the right here is going to be dead. And I think you see how these guys play with vision to the quarterback, how they're able to match some of these underneath concepts, how you're able to kind of say, as a quarterback, man, I don't love throwing over here because you get three guys with eyes to the quarterback, and then you get two guys who are going to have eyes on this corner route. So it kind of takes everything away, which is the brilliance of Vic Fangio in this coverage. Again, they always this is a cover two structure, I'd say, because this is a cover two player here. But they get to this 5 players over 3 quite a bit, and it makes it really hard to complete footballs.
But that leaves one-on-one on the other side, right?
That's
and
exactly
you have to
right.
have the horses to do that, and Philly does.
Philly does. That's exactly right. And so this kid, Quinion Mitchell, has been absolutely killing this in one-on-one matchup situations and really makes the defense go. So my thought is why not, especially if you're Buffalo, take advantage of this guy who's one of your better receivers on a rookie in Jahad Campbell, who I think is playing well, but again, is a rookie. So this is the type of thing that as a coach just frustrates the hell out of me. Love the call, right? What does the back do here? This is obviously man coverage. So I should either break this out. I should either break this in. I definitely shouldn't sit down because it's not zone coverage. What does the back do, Jason? He walks up and he just takes a big squat here right on the middle of the field. This is where execution becomes so important, right? Understanding the coverage. And again, maybe with the under concept here, the double unders, you have to break out. I would still prefer that, right? Read this coverage correctly, break out. You can tell Allen's what the hell are you doing? He's waiting on him to break. Look at him, watch the quarterback. He gets to the read. So first off, great job by Allen. He looks him away, ensures that the linebacker attaches to this side, basically ensuring the one-on-one. He gets back to the choice route runner and is what are we doing here? And then has to dirt this football. So, this is where, again, you can get this defense. You can find these types of matchups. The thing that they do a good job of is they execute really well, and the pass rush. This is not your conventional run around. Let's get to the end zone here real quick so we can see this. It's not your conventional run around pass rush. These dudes are going to run through your face. And so watch them compress this pocket versus Josh Allen. This is an underrated element of how Howie Roseman has built this team, quite frankly, for years. Power rusher, power rusher, power rusher, power rusher. Compress the pocket. There's nowhere to go. It's a big wall in front of them. I got to get rid of the football. And I think you see that and you say, Like, everyone's like, oh, we got to get these pass rushers that, attack the perimeter and work an edge and do all this crazy stuff and run high. That's not how they coach their guys. And the thing that pops out is when you look at the defense for Philly, they're disciplined in coverage, they're disciplined in the rush, they know the checks, and they say, we are more knowledgeable and we can execute our stuff better than you can, and 9 out of 10 times they're right. So let's get on to the next play here, because again, like this I think is also a great call. This is basically the second. So that was the first down call. This is the second down call. What are they going to do? They're going to play some type of man coverage here. And the reason I think it's man coverage from the snap, and again, with them it's so hard to tell because they're always in this split safety structure, right? They're always in this split safety structure, so you don't really know. But I would say the way that these guys are aligning, you see how this linebacker gets a little bit of width here, and he lines up over the tight end? This, to me, feels a little bit more like man as opposed to match. So if I'm the quarterback, I'm kind of thinking that, not based on the safeties, based on the position of the linebackers. So let's take a look. So we're going to get into this. It looks like man. They're kind of like, again, they play their man in such a unique way too. This could be cover 3, who knows? But everybody's eyes are on the quarterback, and that's one of the reasons they get all this ball production. But anyway, let's get into it. So look at this. Backside, what do they do here, Jason? Looks like they match this at least, right? This looks like man coverage here. Up top, I'm not exactly sure, but it does look like there's some type of man principle up top. Anyway, so what do they do now? We're going to run choice again, right? Look at the back. He comes up, does a little stutter, but we're going to run not choice. We're going to run choice takeoff, which means he's going to go here, and this guy's going to break in, I think. So watch. Is this dude open, Jason? I think so. Let's throw that ball, right? Let's throw that freaking ball down the field. But why can't we throw the football?
Pressure.
It's because we just talked about the pass rush, right? This is what makes them so difficult to deal with, because this is decent coverage, not great coverage, decent coverage, but you never know that it's not excellent coverage because the rush. And so let's take a look at the rush. So we talked about the power rushers, right? They also, again, they just execute at a really high level. They're going to run a little, what I would call it, this would be a TE. So tackle first and second. And watch how they run it here. These two guys on the perimeter. Great job by 58. Stepping up, ensuring that the tackle has to step to you. Really nice job by him. And then watch him break underneath. Great job by 97. Attacking the hip, pushing forward here, and we're around. And the slide is away. We always talk about how important the slide is to go away here. Slides away. And we get a guy running right down the pipe to the quarterback. So again, both of these calls I think are good. But you just didn't execute as well as Philadelphia executed. And I think that's what makes the defense here so good and so problematic is they're very talented. They've got a bunch of guys that can run and hit and tackle. But also they know what they're doing and they just execute at an extremely high level.
Is this something that comes to – all right, so the Eagles have a lot of talent, right? Mm-hmm. Do most NFL defenses by this time in the year, last game of the season, last couple games of the season, last quarter of the season – are they now, they've run this so long together that they're starting to execute at this extremely high level? Like, I guess my question is, would you see this type of execution in week 4?
With Philly, this wasn't that clean for Philly early on in the season, right? A lot of it is they had a corner leave, they had a defensive tackle leave, guys were stepping and growing into roles. So they are playing better now. But I also think you got to give credit to Vic Fangio, man. Like, he is excellent. Everywhere he goes, he gets this level of production. I don't know if he just simplifies it, because like the communication, like I wish I put some of the clips on here from this game. The communication that this guy's doing, Zach Bond, like with the nickel, with the safety, like their ability to just get on the same page consistently with some of these looks is awesome. And so like talking to Fletch about it, like that's what makes good defenses is like, hey, if we've got a check, we all get it communicated. We all see it the same way. And they just are at this level. And again, if you think about it, the majority of these guys were on the team last year playing significant minutes. So I think the continuity from last year to this year, I think Vic Fangio is a great coach. I think they've got great personnel. I think all that leads to some of the stuff you're seeing in this game against the Bills. All right, let's get on to – so that's the defense. And I think very highly of the defense. They're a very talented group. Offense is a little different story. So let's talk about – this is an interesting – like they – last year – RPO-based defense. RPO is a run-pass option. It's not zone read. It's a little bit different. So what do teams do to stop it? Run-pass option. So what they're going to do is they're going to, let's see here, they're going to move the tight end. They're going to move the back to the other side. So this does a couple things. when they move the back. So he's checking this run, which is interesting to me too that he's doing this. See how he's pointing to the linebacker here? Interesting. But watch, they're going to move the back to the quarterback's left here. Okay, so when we do this, we now know as a defense that the majority of our runs are going to go over here. And we're going to read these hitches here to the perimeter. If I am a defensive coordinator, I want to play man coverage to this because I take away the quick throw of the RPO. Because if the throw gets elongated, in any way, then you're going to have an illegal man downfield. So that's what I want to do, right? It also lets us play more defenders in the box. Like you can look at this here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everyone talks about the Philly run game and how it's struggling. Like just from a math standpoint, they're going to struggle. They don't have enough hats here. So again, let's take a look at it. We'll look at it from both the wide and the end zone here. So, and they even add a guy to the box. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So here we go. Run away. Combinations are loose. Tackle. I think this is a testament to Saquon Barkley that he turns this into a 4-yard gain. But let's go to the end zone so you can see this. So this is the look, right? They're going to motion out, motion across. We just saw this. He's going to check this play. And then watch these angles for these offensive linemen. Like this is really, some of these are tough, right? So we got to have the tackle check and then work back to this player. We're comboing here. We're walling the backside. Actually, they're taking this combination to someone off the screen here. This player right here is unblocked in the hole. This guy is unblocked in the hole. People are talking about why Saquon Barkley's not as effective. Like, we have hats to the football here, like easy hats. And so the fact that this is their solution on first down to running the football drives me absolutely nuts.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, yeah.
I think you see it on the wide.
Yeah, let's go to the wide.
So the Bills and their defense, right before the ball is snapped, they have the same amount of guys in the box, but they're adjusting who's coming from where.
Yeah.
Does that mess up what they've checked to as far as the offensive line and where you're sliding? So see what I mean here? Like at the bottom of the screen, you have your safeties in the box. He's going to dump out, but then your corner or your nickel player over there, see, he's coming in, your safety's now grabbing your slot receiver.
I guess it could mess up the target.
So, the targeting, right? Is that messing that up at the last second? Because it feels like in the wide, maybe those double team angles or those block angles would be a little cleaner if that's tipped off earlier, but it wasn't. Like
so this is where like targeting becomes really, really technical, right? So like a lot of teams will say like on outside zone, for example, like a new thing people are doing to account for all of the motion you're getting in terms of safety rotation, like you're talking about here, is to say like we're just going to count it out. So 1 goes to the receiver, the count goes to the next guy, 2, 3, 4, right? These become guys we have to block. So once we get this rotation and it's away and this guy leaves, 39 leaves, who's the new number 1, Jason? It's this guy right here. So that's where now the first combination goes. That's where the second combination goes. And that's where the third combination goes based on count. So instead of like traditionally, like when I played, you'd go like, and this is where like some of the Kyle Shanahan run game stuff is really, really good because they have answers versus all of this stuff. But you would say, hey, target, who's the backer here? Target 58. You'd say, we're going to block 58. Take the target to 58. And I would have to know as the tight end that the first combination is going to the next guy, right? So to your point, if we're operating in that system and he says target 58 and then they rotate out, now as the tight end, the target gets muddy because I still know the target technically is going to 58, but there's who are we going to now? There's no number 1 spot. Mm-hmm. So if they're targeting number based, like that can be really challenging. And again, like they're on the road, they're in a loud environment. It's going to make this a little bit tough. But I think to your point, I know you're trying to give them like an out here. They do this a lot, like where it's like last year you'd watch this offensive line and blocking surfaces of the tight ends, and it was incredibly clean. Guys know exactly where they're going. We're perfectly
even when this sort of defense is happening.
They just knew what to do. And again, they have a new offensive coordinator, and it's been kind of the whole year. But our offensive coordinator, and it's been like the whole year. But to see stuff like this with an experienced group, like it's tough, And I think that's the thing that I find really frustrating is you get 2 free runners to the ball here, and it just kills the efficiency. Like this is a good double team block here. Good double team. This is good by the tackle checking. But because we're not targeted correctly, we don't have a good run.
Gotcha.
And I think it just shows up more consistently than I would like, and again, for a group that's as experienced and as talented as them, like that's the thing that I think comes to the forefront here is like, and if you're a Commanders fan, you can utilize that. You can say, hey, let's add a little rotation. Let's mess with the box count. Let's get, safeties and nickels in the count so like they have to make sure that they're targeting this correctly. You can use that. But again, like they've kind of fallen into this, even in the first matchup where we watched, they had a little bit of that going on. All right, let's talk about, so you asked me a question when we're getting ready for this show, is how did Philly not completing a pass in the second half what was the question? It was what did the Buffalo do to keep Philly from completing a pass in the second half of this ballgame, right?
Yeah.
So to me, they came out and they said, we're just not that afraid of you. We're going to play a little bit of man coverage. Boom, 1-2, 1-2. And I don't remember a lot of teams ever doing this to Philly, but that's what they're doing here, right? They're going to play man coverage. And when you see this motion, obviously man zone indicator, the guy's running, it's man coverage. There's no doubt about it. Get it targeted up. And this is like a decent play call here. Like, I don't love it, but like we're going to basically run like a fake screen over here, and we're going to run dragon. So slant up top, and we're going to play isolation basketball with AJ Brown on their corner White. And all they do is White just says, you're not going to run a slant. I'm going to play inside leverage. I have help over the top. I'm going to stand on the inside half of this player, and you're not going to run a slant.
It almost feels like White knows the slant's coming, right?
Yeah, I think when
is that film study there? It's like they like running slants in this situation.
What I would say is the way the safety plays. Watch the safety up top. So this is the safety back here. Watch how the safety weaves for a little bit of width here. See how he weaves out? Like that's not really like a true two player. Like that's like a bracket, right? So what they're doing, I'm assuming, is they're saying you play inside half here on AJ Brown. We want to force the go, and then you will get in trail technique, and you'll have help over the top here with the safety.
Gotcha.
Is what I'm saying. So go ahead.
Sorry. So why would you play man when they have so many dynamic playmakers? And you said like we're just not afraid of you. Are they not afraid of AJ Brown and Smith and Barkley, or are they not afraid of Hurts?
I mean, that's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both, because watch this route by AJ Brown. Like, and again, this is not the optimal look to run a slant into, but he gets like, he's a big man and he gets kind of like gloved up here a little bit. Like that's a good job by an experienced corner, right? And so the other thing I'd say too is this is where Hurts as a player is sometimes difficult to manage, right? So he gets this ball and he tries to rip this slant, right? Rip the slant, boom. But also, like, you have Saquon Barkley with a guy trailing a guy to the flat here. And to me, I would probably just let that rip and see if he could turn that up and make a play out of it, especially with this kind of leverage on a slant. Like, so that's the other thing I kind of come back to is, like, how well is he reading this stuff on a down?
Yeah, but basis? Also, like, you expect AJ Brown to win that too, right? Like, don't you?
But I got to play what I see. This is the other criticism I'd levy too. Is I got to play what I see. Like, this dude's got inside leverage. He's being really physical. There's sometimes on quick game this happens. Even with like Terry, it'll happen sometimes, right? If guys are playing, if you're gonna get this kind of bracket right here, like this is a very real possibility. Read the play out, right? Like you have one of the best explosive backs in the backfield in a one-on-one situation. We've seen him reverse hurdle over somebody. Like, put the ball out there.
Give him a chance.
Yeah, give him a chance. And again, is this the best concept versus man-to-man coverage? No, right? Because you run in this screen down here at the bottom. You're going to rally to the screen. They've got hats for hats. It's not great. I like the fact that he's working the slant-flat combination. Just like, how well are you seeing it? And so I think, again, Jalen Hurts is a very polarizing figure to talk about. But I do think that, like, when you see stuff like this, it's like the slant's not there. Throw the flat. Like, I mean, this is NFL open to me, Jason. I don't know how you feel about it, but this looks NFL open to me.
I'm sorry. I know I feel like devil's advocate.
No, go for it.
That throw right there in that position, I know you have a trailer. I know, like, that's a really hard throw. Like, if you don't, you have to put that ball on a rope on the outside, or it could be a pick six. No,
yeah,
like those are the ones that get picked.
What I would say is, like, you get paid a lot of money as a quarterback.
Let it rip, man.
Let it rip. Right. You know, so that's what I'd say. And again, like, So, like to your point, like
risk management, I guess is what I'm saying. Like Hurts is like, oh, okay, I'm not going to throw a turnover here. No way, not in a close game. So I'm going to rip it to my guy AJ.
My other thing though is like if you want to play devil's advocate, look at this position on the slant. Who's got a better likelihood of catching this ball, AJ Brown or White, as he's playing through the hands of the quarterback here? You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
It's just a tough down for the quarterback. So, in answer to your question, Buffalo is kind of like, we're just going to play man coverage. And we're just going to say, like, we don't think you can beat us down to down. And so, is that the quarterback? Is that the skill players?
To me, the scheme, like we don't know?
Yes, the scheme. To me, this is a surprising result that we're seeing more and more. Like, the Bears, when they played Philly, they played man coverage a lot. And they said, we just don't think you're good enough to beat us down to down, which is crazy to think about because they have all these playmakers, right? So let's go again. Well, maybe it was a one-off. No, like we're going to play man again. They're going to run with you, get the man zone indicator. It looks like they're rotating to some type of two-man. Obviously, safety's back here, two, and then they're going to play man underneath. And watch this. Like, this is we're not going to get a great opportunity here. Like, they cover everybody up. Look, covered up. And Jalen Hurts escapes from the pocket and that's throw the ball away. And so this is another thing I'd say that's a little bit interesting. So obviously he starts working here.
I mean, it almost feels like the defense knows this play's coming.
But check it out, though. So he's working to left here. This is dead. Yeah. I have seen Drew Brees on this concept get back to this dig. And tell me this dig seems like it's way deep, but that's a good man-beating route with outside leverage.
You drew the wrong guy. Sorry.
No, I didn't. It's the right guy. This guy. Dig.
Yeah, there
right?
You go.
So he's going to run a dig. And this is open, right? You see that? To me, this seems based on concept really deep. Really, really deep on the backside here.
So you want him breaking off at like the 25.
Like probably, even if he breaks it at the 30 and comes flat, like we got a shot, but he rounds this to 20.
Yeah.
So that seems very, very
well, Hurts is being flushed here. I know I sound like I'm defending them. I just really want to dissect
So this is the other thing with Hurts let's go to the end zone here, that I think is really interesting to talk about is like everyone says, oh, the offensive line's not playing as well. And that's true to a certain extent. But you tell me, just watch this, Jason. You tell me what you think of this right here. Like, to me, this is a good job by this group picking these guys up.
Yeah, where are you going?
Like,
stay there.
This is a three-man rush with a spy. This guy's spying. I don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, stay right there.
I can stay right here. He is creating pressure. Like everyone talks about this guy on the perimeter. I think his name's Fred Johnson. Like, oh, he's struggle busting. You know why? Part of the reason, he has his own issues he's got to work through. But Jalen Hurts escapes to his right. And every single time he escapes to his right, like this, to me, like.
You're inviting that pressure. Almost.
Good job, Fred Johnson. Like, this is a win, right? This is a win. We have this locked down. Just stay there. Stay there and work your progression, man. It's man coverage. Work through it. Everyone talks about these full field reads. Like, so let's go what I think the read is here, right? So this is some type of CO, I think, or some type of spot concept here. You're going to get a corner and you're going to get an uncover. So first off, crazy concept that they're doing this right here. So you're going to run a sit with a drive coming across and then a corner behind it. Get out of here. Like, what are we doing?
A lot of people really
that
tight.
Can't be right. Yeah. Like, that cannot be right. So, like, let's run an out here. Run it out. Let's clear the zone. Let's run a corner. And let's go 1, 2, 3. And then they're all covered, let's just say. I think you get the ball to A.J. Brown here. I do think that. I think he's got enough separation here. And then if it's not there, hit this dig, which to me seems like it's a touch deep, right? If he breaks it at 15. But, like, look at the space in the middle of the field. And it's not, like, unrealistic for him to be like, I'm going to sit in the pocket and let this rip. He basically creates his own pressure on this play. So people talk about what's wrong with Philly. I think the concept, the scheme here is a little bit wonky, and maybe it's not being executed correctly. I think Jalen Hurts running into pressure is also a little bit of wonky, right? And basically, Buffalo was like, we are not worried. We're going to play man coverage, and we're going to get after your butt. And that's what they did. And so this is, I think, the fatal flaw with this group, like, and why I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year, is because defensively they have everything you want. Offensively, like, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the skill guys, whether it's the scheme, they're just not where they have been and not where they were. And so that's what I'd say when I look at this.
All right. So when you say, sorry, I know that feels like you made a exclamation point at the end of the show there. I'm sorry. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just don't want us to feel like we're piling on Philly either. Like, I really want to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So when you say, like, you don't think they're going to make a Super Bowl, is it because of you think this sort of thing can continue? Because we had Fred Smoot just say on the Command Center podcast that came out that, like, yeah, sure, but when playoffs come, they execute. Hurts finds a way to execute. This offense comes alive. The counter to that I think you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that when you hit the playoffs, that's when you start playing very good defenses that can do this to you. They can say, we're playing man, we're not scared of you. And you now have to execute, and you haven't shown that you can by week 18.
Yeah, I mean, there's been 17 games, right? Yeah. And this has been an underlying theme. Like, you had that great stat on the Command Center show we did this week where it's like, there's only been two. They're like the first team since 1978 to not complete a second half pass or something like that.
And win two games.
And win two games. Like, there is a reason that this is an anomaly and not the rule, is because of stuff like that. And again, like, I don't like this concept. I don't like that there's 3 people running into the same zone. Like, that's bad football. I don't like that this guy's super deep on this cut because the timing's weird for the quarterback. But also, stay in there and let's make a throw. Like, this is a 3-man rush. We don't need to be running around trying to get away from it. So that's what I'd say is there's a lot wrong with the offense. I think everybody's got to take accountability. And in order for them to win games, they have to be playing better than what they're playing right now. But it's always fun talking Philly, talking fun about why they're not doing well. Again, defense is killing it. Offense is struggling. But that's going to do it for today's show.
This show was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.